Anthony Melchiori, happy election day to you. I hope you're doing well.
Happy Friday.
Have you gotten your have you heard your voice? Gotten your voice heard yet?
My voice has been heard.
All right. Here we go. Let's get the show started.
I'm Anthony. Welcome to No Vacancy Lives. That's my friend Glenn.
You're watching the #1 show in hospitality.
How are you? So, Glenn, if you're listening to Glenn has been his signal's not working, so I'm going to carry the show a little bit.
Houseman, great to my friend.
Today is election day, and did you vote today, Glenn?
I have voted, and I got to tell you, man, I lucked out. I gambled, I rolled the dice, and instead of going early, I said, I'm going to go to my polling place on election day and see what happens. Very fortunate, man. I was in and out in under 15 minutes. So I felt pretty good about that. But I also felt kind of privileged that I live in a community that I was able to do something so quick while so many people around the country have to take hours and hours and hours to have their vote taken.
Yeah, there's a lot of purists out there that wanted to wait for election day. I'm one of those people, but then I decided, you know what, let me do it a little early. So I did it early. And I don't know if there's really, really long lines all over the country, but New York seems to be going pretty well. So far, at least I know they had a big turnout prior to today. So let's see what happens in the election day. The most important thing about election day is it's a democracy. Go vote. And those people that don't vote, you're not allowed to complain.
Right. And I really don't want to hear you complain on Facebook. You think you could do it, but if you don't vote, I'm not going to be paying attention to what you have to say. Anthony, I got to tell you, your lighting looks great today, man.
Yeah, well, thank you. And I appreciate it. It's just lucky. It's natural lighting. But you know, what's really important, I just had this conversation with someone, one of my kids actually, and like we have to focus on what we can control and try to just do what we can do the best we can do it and not control what we can't control. So whether it goes the way you want it to go or somebody else wants it to go, we just got to control ourselves and we've got to control our families. And, you know, as a First Lady once said, don't worry what happens in the White House, worry what happens in your house.
Right. That's absolutely correct. And think local, vote national, but think local. The only way I want it to go is away. I am done with this election process. I cannot wait till we get some clarity and we could just move forward.
You know, I think the biggest, have you seen The Social Experiment? I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard a lot of it. Have you seen it? The Social Experiment's on Netflix, HBO or something. And apparently it's about what's happening today with social media and kind of how we're all tuned into social media. And that's how we get most of how we're thinking. And I think that that's dangerous. We need to be independent thinkers. And, you know, I would like to know if we go to the polls and when you ask someone who they're voting for, if they can give me the top 10 things why they're voting for them outside of emotional reason. And that to me, you know, that's hopefully we go to the polls being educated on why we're voting and whoever you vote for. And I think that is a main ingredient, that we need to know what the platform is. And on this election, I don't know, it seems like there was just a lot of chaos and not a lot of platforms.
Yeah, that is right. But we're not going to get into the political discourse here. I just want to send my love out to the Garden City Hotel. I'm wearing a little Garden City Hotel shirt today. I should have worn it when we were there last week, Anthony. But I love the upscale
so you're wearing the Garden City Hotel shirt when we're not featuring the Garden City Hotel. So that means you ran out of laundry.
No, what it means is that I am trying very secretly, but now you've spoiled it. I'm trying to get our wonderful guest, Agnelo Fernandes, to send me a Terranea shirt since that's where he's from. But now you spoiled the whole thing, Anthony.
Absolutely. So before we go to our guest, so next week, where are we going?
Next week, we're doing a little tour of the Washington, D.C., Baltimore area because, hey, what better place to go in the country than the Washington, D.C. the week after Election Day? I'm sure it's going to be peaceful, insane. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be checking out the Riggs Hotel on Monday. On Tuesday, the brand new Viceroy Hotel, the Hotel Zena. And then on Wednesday of next week, we are going to be at the Maryland Live Casino in Baltimore. And we're going to be featuring the person who overlooks all of the live casinos around the country.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. Although I don't know if we're going to be going depending on what's going on. So hopefully
that's true. There is always a thing of cancellation. And in particular, Anthony, because of all the rules here are starting to change. I know here in New York, we have to follow new rules if we're leaving the state and coming back. You're feeling pretty comfortable about that. You're a guy that gets tested all the time, but makes me a little bit anxious just to travel again. Not too anxious, but just a little bit anxious.
No, I agree with you. But, when I come home, I want to be safe for my family. So I'm going to get tested. I'm going to do the right things. And I think it's the right thing to do. Get tested, stay home for a couple of days, and I think you're going to be okay, hopefully. And then the week after, I'm going to be in Ohio for our Cintas friends. I'm doing some videos for them, so I'm looking forward to that. So again, it's not an ad, but if you need PPE, they're the people that have it. So go to Cintas, and then I'm going to be hopefully in Vegas. And actually, I was going to go do my commencement speech in Missouri at Park University online. I was going to be on campus to do it online, but I'm actually going to a studio to do it. Do you know whose studio I'm going to?
Maybe the Houseman Resort and Pool Club and Smokehouse Studio.
That's right. I'm actually writing the commencement speech as we speak, and I want to do something that is supportive of what kids are feeling right now. I know I'm not doing a great job in talking to one of my daughters about she's graduating and stuff, and I'm doing my best, but I don't know. You don't know what to say because this is a different time, but every time's different, right? So
yeah.
I'm trying to kind of keep that in mind, that whether it's today, whether it was 9/11, whether it was Hurricane Sandy, whether it was the Vietnam War, World War II, Korean War, Depression, Spanish flu, there's so many things that this world has gone through to get to the fruit. And the fruit is happiness and peaceful being around your family and friends and hopefully loving the career you have. So how do we kind of mix that in and say, listen, there's going to be ups and downs, and we just got to, and I hate the word stay positive, but we just got to put one foot in front of the other, my friend.
Yeah, and when you come out to the studio here next week, one of the things, Anthony, that you're going to see are our recycling bins from Eco Technology, because we love those guys. Hey, like how I slid in that little ad right there. It's easy enough. It's really inexpensive.
I got my own
regular garbage cans. Let's see you put that thing together. The last time I tried to put one together, I took myself offline. It was not a good situation. So
well, why don't you talk through what we're talking about so people on the podcast understand what we're talking about, why I put it together?
Yeah, okay. So Eco Technology is a great disposable garbage can because in the rooms people want to feel confident during this COVID period. So instead of having to go ahead and sanitize and clean out plastic garbage cans over and over again, just throw away this. It's about 15 cents per garbage can. Takes no time. You make that money back in the less time it takes to clean. You can just dispose of it, recycle it, do all of that kind of good stuff. And Andy, what is it? 1,564 regular eco baskets equal the carbon footprint of one plastic waste basket.
Yeah,
Your guests are going to love it.
And you saw I put it together in 1 second. And what's so funny is when people come to my garage, if I'm working out or a friend comes over and we're hanging out, because it's kind of like having my man cave, and they'll see it and they'll say, hey, can I have one? And I have 2 big boxes now full of them. So I was like, yeah, you can have one. Mm-hmm. So now one of the things I'm realizing is when my kids come home from college, they're in their room. Like, how do they get it in their room? So everyone really likes it. It's really easy to store. So when it's not put together, it's easy, it's flat. So, and when you're in a hotel, the best thing to do is waste so much time to clean that waste paper basket. You just fill it up, you take out the whole thing, and you put in a new one. I think it's great. At first, I was like, hey, this is great. I'm glad they're a sponsor. Fantastic. It seems like a good product. But I literally have 3 of them right where I am. I have one here, one near my bathroom office, and then one near my door. So I have 3 of them. So it's eco-friendly, it's inexpensive, and it's easy to deal with, and you don't have to worry about plastic, and you don't have to worry about cleaning. How many times have you gone to a hotel and you looked in the basket and it's dirty? I hate that.
Absolutely gross. You don't have to worry about that anymore. And if you tell them No Vacancy Live sent you, you'll get 10% off. Anthony, let's go. Let's talk Terranea, which I got right here behind me. Such a great resort. I absolutely love that place. The first time I went there, I felt transported to a different place. It's right on the water in Southern California. Boy, I love it. Let's bring in.
I got an idea before you bring him in.
Yeah.
No one can on the show unless they buy 1,000 of these. I'm just kidding.
All right. So, Agnelo, welcome to the show. Apparently, now you got to get me a shirt. You got to buy 1,000 waste baskets. Very challenging day for you. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much. Of course, we're just kidding.
Thank you, Anthony and Glenn. Glenn, thanks for the accolades and the good words for Terranea. Absolutely. When next time you visit down here, we'll make sure we set you up with a nice polo shirt.
So if you could tell us about your property, what we're talking about, who you are, give people, and then we want to ask questions about obviously what you're going through now during this period of time. But please give people exactly where you are in the world so people know, and then kind of what your resort has to offer, a little bit about your background, and then we got 1,000 questions for you.
Let's go. Thank you. Well, Terranea Resort is located on the Palos Verdes Peninsula here in Southern California. So to give you an idea of of where we are located, we're about 30 minutes south of Los Angeles Airport, LAX. And it sits on this beautiful peninsula, and the resort itself is oceanfront. It's surrounded. It's 102 acres, surrounded with unparalleled views of the Pacific Ocean. And really here, where the best part about Terranea for me is it's the place that you get to immerse yourself in a natural coastal habitat while enjoying a host of luxury amenities and award-winning dining, spa, wellness, and fitness, and various adventure experiences. In terms of its amenity base, we have an award-winning 9-hole golf course. It's par 3, 50,000 square foot of spa, fitness, and wellness areas overlooking the ocean. 4 sparkling pools with ocean views, a collection of 9 dining outlets, and really the epicenter of everything for us is the Farm to Terranea dining concept, which we have a farm about a mile away from the resort where we have everything from honeybees to chickens to we even grow vegetables, and those are actually served in our dining outlets. And then tons of activities. You can do stand-up paddleboarding. You can do ocean kayaking, tide pooling. We've got a one-of-a-kind falconry program. We've got archery by the ocean, painting classes. But for me, really what transforms me and my mindset, and I know I'm speaking for most of our guests and our associates here, is that feeling of transformation, just looking at the Pacific, soaking in the nature. And then, you have a team of professionals that are focused on delivering hospitality at a very extraordinary level. So that in a nutshell is Terranea. It's just spectacular. The backdrop is incredible. I live on the peninsula, and the almost 10 years that I've been here, the sky, the ocean, and the entire peninsula looks different every day.
How long has the resort been open?
So the resort opened in June 2009. So we're kind of creeping in on our 11th year. We just celebrated last year our 10th anniversary. And 2009, June.
So how far are you from LAX?
About 30 minutes away.
Okay. How far from Long Beach?
Roughly about the same. I would say it's about 40 minutes away from Long Beach and about an hour to an hour 15 minutes away from John Wayne Airport too. So beautifully located.
I have a feeling I'll be there a lot.
Dude, it's such a great place. And what I really loved, Agnelo, is one time I was staying there and I was fortunate enough, I might know somebody or two, and they put me at a room that was right at the ocean front, at the end of the whole building, looking right over this nice little grass complex. And there was a wedding that was out there. And I sat on my balcony and I watched it. And I couldn't help think to myself, what an incredible place to get married, overlooking the Pacific Ocean, this incredible luxury resort. And I think that is when I fell in love with the resort.
Are you guys open, and have you been open through the whole COVID period?
So we did close down from March 19th through June 18th. So opened on June 19th. So we were closed for 3 months. We had to do it just because of so many unknowns and the fact that, we weren't sure about the levels of business and able to sustain the resort at that point in time. So 3 months was our closure period.
So this period of time last year, what was your occupancy? 60%?
Yeah, so we roughly do about in an annualized occupancy of in the high 60s. So yes, around this time, this is November. We're blessed with a group business, and we used to have group business in pockets that are considered shoulder and low season. So we were somewhere in the mid 60s in terms of occupancy.
Are you running now about 20% leisure?
No, it's about 100. Well, it's 100% leisure at this point because
I'm saying your occupancy is about 20%. It's all leisure. That's what I was saying?
That's correct. Yes, it's all leisure.
It's about 30% occupancy, if you don't mind me asking.
No, not at all. So midweek. So we've got at this point, because of capacity restrictions as it relates to our pool, dining, we're kind of topping out at on the weekends at about 60% of our occupancy.
Great.
And on the weekdays, we're hovering somewhere in the 20s.
And on the weekends, is your rate higher than it was last year?
Yes, it is.
Wow.
Substantially higher. Without sort of getting into the numbers, it's roughly about almost 20% higher than last year.
And right, and for those people that don't really understand revenue management, listen, everybody wants to go away right now on the weekends with a resort like that. A resort like that, if you're within an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, it's a godsend because you go there, you completely forget about the world, you're right on the ocean, everything's behind you. Like you said, you have the Falcons, you have the archery, you have a million things to do, you have the pools, you have the great weather, you have the beach, and it's absolutely escape. So when people say, well, it's COVID, why are you raising the rates? That's not fair. Well, because people want to escape. And you know what? At the end of the day, the people that want to escape are probably going to save money because they'd probably be in Europe or they'd probably be
Right.
in New York City. So they're saving money going there. And listen, you got to keep the lights on. And we need resorts like you because resorts like yours are really keeping our business in business. If your type of resorts weren't in business and you weren't doing well and you weren't employing people, we'd be in a lot worse shape than we are.
Right. Well, if I can just add to that, right? So Terranea is blessed with a variety of accommodation types. We've got villas, bungalows, and casitas, which are residential style, and then we have the main hotel building, which has 360 rooms and suites. We didn't intentionally raise prices. What we saw as a trend was people wanted space. People did not want to be, lumped in with another room next door. So. And if you look at Terranea's, setting, it's the fact that we have these residential units were in high demand. Now, naturally, those draw a higher price because of the space and the amenities. And so for that reason, we noticed our prices, our average rate grow. What we've done is we've tried to stay, within our value proposition.
Right.
It's under promise, over deliver. And then as a result, people here, we benefit from 10 million people in LA County. And then if you add all the surrounding counties, you're almost up to 20 million with some of the top zip codes in the country. So what we did was we went very hyper local and said to our guests, you don't need to worry about driving far away. And as Anthony described, you're within 2-3 hours of driving. Californians, by nature love, breaking away for 2 days within the state. California is also known to fly internationally and spend 15 days outside. They will not spend more than 3 days within the state.
You said something as you were talking. We were showing beautiful pictures of your resort. So if you're listening to this on our podcast, please go to our Facebook or LinkedIn, and you'll see the beautiful pictures we're going to post. Beautiful resort, or just go to their Facebook page. But you said something I think is very important, and especially for young salespeople, young revenue managers, young marketing people. Hyper local. Explain that. I know what that means, but explain that hyper local. What do you mean by that? What are you doing that is really focusing on local?
Yeah. So in a very simplistic manner, in sort of defining hyper local, it's really targeting pockets of within your so-called neighborhood. So we look at LA County, and you have 88 townships here. So we actually, through our research and analytics, know exactly what pockets to target. So by zip codes, by demographic, by consumer behavior. And so, mind you, as we started the process in May, as we were reopening, we had no clue. We just knew that everything is going to be in our near surroundings. So what we did was we spent a lot of time. We created these design thinking pods that were focused on research. And as we researched, we were like, oh, okay, got it. So we went after certain zip codes that we knew had the wherewithal and the propensity to break away. Now, mind you, everybody wanted to get away. So Terranea was perfect because pricing on the weekends is very different than midweek, no different than pre-COVID. But right now, and as we go through these times, it became affordable to travel midweek. It became easier and convenient because schools are not in session. And even when schools are in session, we still draw a lot of folks that want to work and study from Terranea. And so as we have families that come here on their own, not in a group setting, and they just want to get away. So they'll stay here for 7 days. They'll enjoy the resort. Meanwhile, mom and dad are doing their business. kids are doing their studies and they get together, they dine, they enjoy the pool, they enjoy nature. And so we've seen a huge lift in not only demand, but also bookings for folks that want to do the work from Terranea program.
So coming out of this, what's the one thing that you've learned that you think is going to stay with your resort coming out of this that's going to help you move forward?
Exactly what we talked about earlier, that we don't have to go crazy trying to develop too many new markets that are remote from us. If we provide, first of all, we've got to listen to what our guests say. So we spend a lot of time on social listening, reviewing surveys, just understanding what guests were saying. And even when we were closed, Anthony and Glenn, what we did was we made sure that communication, which is one of our key pillars, we were always on. The lights may have been off for a little bit, but the communication channel was always on. We were engaged in social media. We had a robust themed email campaign going out. We did, we did outreach to our customer base, whether they were in the group segment or the leisure segment. So we stayed in communication. And what I realized through this whole thing is our success depends on two things. One is the return of the meetings and the groups and meeting segment, but also providing a value proposition and the confidence that to our local community that this is the place to be without, in some cases using your passport or even jumping on a flight or even driving long distances. So we will stay very focused and we will progressively reach out to direct fly markets as the winter comes around and then eventually as things open up to international markets too.
So Agnelo, let me ask you this. We've got a lot of people around the country that are hoteliers and trying to find a way to boost business. Obviously, you've got a beautiful resort, so that makes the sale easier. But what are the actual offers and types of things that are convincing people once they see those emails and that outreach to actually commit to taking a stay at Terranea?
Well, I think for us, there's two things. One is the continuity of messaging and engagement. We've never said, well, we're not talking to you right now and we'll talk to you later. So that continuity has helped us. Listening to what the guests want has also helped us. Now, in terms of, programs like, California Coastal, where, you can get a 25% discount, or we offer a third night free. Those are things that have all come to life. And then alluded to earlier, the work from Terranea program has been a pleasant surprise to us because while we can't accept groups, we can certainly welcome people that want to break away. So it's all in the compelling messaging that gives them the confidence that they can come here and that cleanliness and their safety and hygiene are at the very forefront of everything that we do. And it all starts and ends right there. And that I think has been, in the near term, a huge success for us.
Right. So let me ask you this in regards to the property and all of that. How are people responding, do you think, because they're from California, that might be different from a state such as Florida, which is taking the exact opposite approach when it comes to the way the governors are handling the COVID situation?
Well, we do have to educate them. That's where my buzzword, or the word for the day, word for these last 7-8 months has been communication, is to be very upfront in what they can and cannot do. We do that through several messaging points, through our website, through our lifestyle website called Terranea Life. And if you haven't been on it, please visit terranealife.com. We do it in our, if somebody calls, our res agents are trained and are confident in explaining to them what we expect here. We do it in our email confirmations. Upon arrival, they have a choice of a guest newsletter that's printed, or they can do stuff with or pull it up, with a QR code, because we want to try and be as contactless as possible. So several points of reminders as to what the requirements are, and we are guided by protocols. As you can imagine, California is probably one of the toughest in terms of protocols, both in the meetings and the leisure space. So, not to say that we don't have guests that don't conform to it or don't understand it, but it just requires a little bit more of reinforcement from time to time. And the expectations are very different. You'd have somebody from Texas where things are a lot more relaxed come and say, well, this doesn't happen there. And unfortunately, it's we don't want to get to those crossroads, and we haven't had those situations. Quite frankly, we have had to explain to some of the guests, and they have conformed well.
So are you starting to see a little bit of group business or wedding business or family reunions or something come on in the next 30, 69 days, or no? And my second question is going to be a doozy, so get ready.
Uh-oh.
Answer the first one, then I'll give you the second one.
Sure. So, at this point, overall group demand is 35% of where it was last year. So, clearly we've spent a lot of time trying to think about what our acquisition strategy is going to be, what our retention strategy is going to be. And we've spent a lot of time moving groups who were booked in 2020 into the fall. And now we're seeing that second wave of moving out of the fall into 2021. There are no signs of things being relaxed in terms of government mandates for groups and events. So we're struggling there at this point. Having said that, the second half of the year, really from May onwards, looks very robust. And hopefully things, we as a society start to behave and take COVID a lot more seriously. That will enable the government to sort of relax, some of their mandates. But, on the other side, what we are seeing a great deal of success with is weddings. And there are two trends that are happening in weddings. The first one is really folks wanting to move the wedding in its whole to a time where they think that things will be back to normal. And we do let them know that we don't know what we don't know, but the minute we do, we will connect with you. The second thing that we're seeing is a huge surge in micro weddings, and micro weddings is 10 to 15 people. We still can't host them. However, we can block a date and say 30 days out we'll give you a situation update.
Right.
15 days out we will. Now the good thing about it is that the smaller the wedding, the more flexible it is for us to be able to handle and communicate with them. The larger ones are a challenge at this point, but it is what it is, and it's not going to stop. So we just want to see how things come back. Now, as far as recovery, my sense is that it's going to be the middle to late 2023. But I do think that the minute mandates are lifted, there'll be a huge surge in demand for smaller groups. I think the average size of a group at Terranea is close to about 275 rooms to 300 rooms.
Wow.
I think that shrinks down to the 175 to 200, at least for 2021, and then there'll be a slow comeback.
So when you're looking at 2021 and beyond, and being that you're the person who's in charge of strategy for the resort, what are you thinking? What are your expectations? What we've been hearing from other hoteliers around the country is they're feeling pretty good about 2021. Of course, there's some caveats to that, mostly from the second quarter on. But because everybody kind of pushed their meetings to 2021, they're feeling that might actually be a robust year for group business. California might be a little bit differently, but what is your overall impression on how you think next year is going to go, and what else can you do to maximize your opportunity?
Sure. Well, I think, the way I look at it, I think the second half of 2021 will be pretty solid. There are a lot of factors that, go into it, from the political environment to the economic environment. As we are budgeting as a business for next year, clearly we are more cautious in what we're budgeting for. We don't see us traveling in Q1. That means travel, meals, entertainment, all that's been kind of almost, wiped out of our budgets. So I do see other companies doing that, but that as confidence comes back, that it's okay to travel, that it's okay to meet. Maybe the restrictions of 6 feet apart shrink to 3 feet apart. We don't know this, but I do think that the second half of 2021 will be robust for both groups, events as well as weddings. And then, we'll see a bounce back in 2023.
Fingers crossed, Agnelo, that you're absolutely right about this. Before we wrap up with you today, sir, what is the message that you want people to go away with? What can they do to empower themselves, their careers, the success of their hotel going forward?
So, for me, it all starts and ends with the mindset. And if you have your mindset your mind in the right place, in terms of what we do here is really try to stay ahead of trends. My team, the marketing team, is extremely focused on understanding trends, but data being the driver. It's not just intuition or what your gut tells you, or anecdotal stuff, right? We have to be data driven in terms of what we're trying to accomplish. And staying ahead of these trends is really critical, because just as we shut down, I think it's that quickly we open up. So you don't want to be caught sleeping at the wheel, number one. Number two, everything that you do, stay focused on your team internally, and then externally your guest. And the way you do this is, the way we do this is really through listening. We have to take into consideration everything that they're sharing with us. And it can be brilliant to something mediocre, but somewhere in there is a message that will drive strategy for the long haul. And then lastly, stay focused on your values and who you are, because that is what defines our brand. Our brand stands for hospitality at the highest level, delivering the extraordinary. It's for us, hospitality is really about inspiring connection, and at different levels, right? You can connect with your family, you can connect with your cohorts in the business world, or you can ultimately connect with yourself or with nature if you want to at Terranea. So those would be the three things that I would focus on at this point.
Excellent. Anthony?
No, thank you very much. And I learned a lot about your property. And I will be coming out to California probably a lot this year. So I will stop by, and I'm sure you will hook me up.
I look forward to welcoming you for sure. Maybe you can take back Glenn's polo shirt with you.
Thank you.
Listen, I'm glad you look forward to me. All I want to know is, are you going to hook me up? That's all I care about.
Absolutely. I wouldn't make you carry Glenn's t-shirt without giving you something.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that, Agnelo, because really that's why we got into doing this show every single day. Not to educate, empower, and entertain people, but so Anthony could get a free trip to California. So, thank you.
Whatever it takes.
Agnelo, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate you.
Well, you guys have been fantastic. Thank you for the opportunity. And to everybody, just stay safe and, keep the mindset that this is temporary, things will return. I appreciate the opportunity to be on your show. I've been a fan of your show since I first heard about it, and look forward to seeing you guys in person at some point.
Thank you. Yeah, well, maybe if Anthony comes out, I'll hop in his luggage and we can do a live broadcast overlooking the ocean. All right? Thank you, Agnelo. Have a great one. Anthony, I got to tell you, I really love that property. I love the people over there. They really make you feel comfortable and at home. And that whole aspect of the homes there, perfect offering at the right time.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. Actually, like I said, work's going to bring me out there a lot this year. So
that's right.
I will be sure to check it out. It's only a half hour from where I'm going to be working, so I look forward to it. So, my brother from
yes, sir.
Brother, how are you? So today is an interesting day in America. It's interesting in the world. We'll see what happens. Everybody vote, and God bless America.
Yeah, I got myself a couple of cases of wine downstairs to get me through the evening, and I'm going to be.
Why do you need an excuse to drink wine?
Dude, it just makes me feel better. I could pass out easier at night if I have an excuse as to why I drink too much during this period of time. So I'm going to continue making excuses, but the one excuse that people should never make is not watching this show for any reason. Be sure to tune in here every day at noon, everybody. I want you all to go and vote. Please take care of yourselves. We're going to keep this one short today because we want you to focus on what's going on here in the United States of America. And I know, even though you may be coming from watching us, because we get viewers from all over the world, from far away as Australia and New Zealand, I know you're going to be focused on what's going on here as well today.
Yeah, absolutely. So great show today, as usual, my friend. And let's take me home.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Be sure to subscribe to our newsletter. Text the word hotel to 66866. Like us on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on LinkedIn. All of those good sources. Please check out novacancynews.com, where every single show Anthony and I have done has been there. And Anthony, could you believe it? We have done something like 137, 38 of these broadcasts almost every day since March. Can you believe that?
No, when you're having fun and you have great guests and you learn a lot, you don't need to, like right now, as soon as this is over, I'm getting on, what time is it? Yeah, in a little while, I'm getting on with Washington Post, and they're asking me about all-inclusive resorts, things like that. And like, wouldn't be prepared if it wasn't for the show. I'm so prepared for anything. I get to talk to the media and the show. And, it's I also want you to go to the podcast and please write a review. We haven't got a review in a while. We're getting because people are listening to it, but people aren't writing reviews. So please go write a review, good or bad. Just tell us how you feel, and hopefully it'll be good. But Please, and also Thursday, 3:00, we're doing Hospitality Success on Facebook, where I go behind the scenes and show you what my thought process is of turning around the hotel. And this week, I won't tell you which one it is, but it's a good one.
That's a good one. All right. I'll be sure to be tuned in this Thursday afternoon. All right, Anthony, thank you so much for another great show. I love doing this with you every day, and I love that all of you are participating and helping us make this community great. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So until tomorrow, make sure you have a great life. Vote and blaze on and
be kind to yourself.